Without a shadow of a doubt, it's the Cronkest Show in social media history. I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone. I got my man in the building, Donovan Sadiq. I got the Queen, Demetra K, and I am the 5-star general. Say, man, I went and got one of the baddest in the country. We got a problem down in Houston. Y'all think y'all gonna mess with our black judges? It ain't gonna happen on our watch. My man Quanell is in the building tonight. So y'all sit back, we about to go hard in the paint. Say, man, I want to welcome you to another episode of the War Zone and tell you thank you for tuning in. You know, without you guys, we would not have a show. And we definitely appreciate you taking the time out to tune in because that's what it is. I'm going to start it off by saying I'm waiting to get a report from Lake Charles, Louisiana, with the Melanie Lyons case, a 15-year-old that was murdered in Walmart. The girls were supposed to go to court today for bond reduction hearings. And I'm trying to wait to see if I can get some information on that. And then I should be able to report back to you guys. But in the meantime, y'all send the word out, man. They blocked my main page. I'm on my backup page, but I got just as many friends over there as I got on my main page. So you looking for Gary Monroe, the picture with my mama, and let's get this thing out the way we need to get it out. Donovan, what's happening, my friend?
Hey, you guys, welcome to the Monday edition of the War Zone. And I want to thank, coming back to the show, Brother Quanell X. Thank you for coming on the show. We love when people contribute to the show and help us grow. In the news real quick, because we want to get into this today. In the news today, as you guys have heard, if you guys don't already know, the coronavirus is real. Republican representative, he died, I believe it was yesterday. And I guess now they actually believe that it's a real thing. So I hope a lot of our MAGA friends and crowd will start taking this seriously, wear their masks, wash their hands, and do what they got to do. So kind of quiet. Tomorrow is the Senate hearing on former President Donald Trump. And of course, he's not going to be convicted, which means basically he's saying that he is above the law and they don't give a damn. So, Demetra?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Monday night's edition of the War Zone. As Donovan just said, we have Mr. Quanell X here, and him and Gary are going to fill us in on what's going on in the latest in Houston. So if you can also do us a favor and share this live so that everybody else can get the information and join in on the conversation, we would greatly appreciate it. And so without further ado, we'll get into it because there's a lot to cover. I'll go ahead and give it back over to Gary.
I'm sitting around in Minnesota, and I went to Minneapolis a few weeks back, and I get a call from my brother Quanell. And normally when he called me, it's important. And he gave me a call, and we were talking about how these people were starting to attack our black judges. And we know it started with Brittany Morris. They attacked Brittany Morris. And we both agreed that wasn't going to work on our watch. Now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't agree with everything some of these judges do. But I'm going to tell you something. You ain't going to use me to go get them for you. If you got a problem with them, you go get them on your own. But more importantly, y'all got to remember the midterms are in 2022. So they planning on trying to knock out a lot of these judges. But I mean, it's an ethical way to do things. But these people have resorted to some underhanded trickery like I've never seen before. So, bottom line, we brought Quan on because he finna enlighten y'all. And for those that thought I was joking last week and we were joking when we talked about Brittany, my man finna shock you. What's up, dog?
Good evening to your co-host, my dear brother. Good to see you, sir. And indeed, good evening to the queen of the planet. I greet you all in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. In the words of the Black liberation struggle for freedom, justice, and equality, Black power only means people working for economic redevelopment and people working for eternal revolution. Thank you, Brother Gary, for having me this evening, brother. It is a serious, serious subject matter about what's going in Houston, Harris County, inside of the Harris County Civil Courthouse. What they have done, Brother Gary, to get straight to the point, let's not tiptoe through the tulips or pussyfoot around the bushes. Let's just speak straight words of what's going on in the Harris County Civil Courthouse. Brittany Morris was not on the bench 3 days before they filed motions to recuse this sister of an existing case involving a long-time ongoing lawsuit between Ali Chaudhry and Osama Latif. Well, Mr. Latif found out that Ali Chaudhry had donated financially to Brittany Morris's campaign. He found out that she had an office in the building that Mr. Chaudhry owned. So what he did, he went and got a gentleman by the name of Chris Wyatt, and he approached Mr. Wyatt about going to seek employment from Ali Chaudhry. Mr. Wyatt used an assumed name of Chris Wyatt, a fake fictitious name, went and got a job from Ali Chaudhry with the sole purpose to connect Brittany and Ali together in some type of way to create the appearance that she has been compromised so they could use that to pull Brittany off the case. And he went to work immediately befriending Brittany Morris and sending her friendly text messages seeking friendly advice. But she did not know that from the very beginning, it all was a setup and a conspiratorial plan by one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit, Mr. Osama Latif, to set her up to be recused from the case. And I'm not just talking. I sent you, Brother Gary, the documents, the actual facts of what's going down in this case. Not only did Chris Wyatt do that, Chris Wyatt, under assumed name of Chris Wyatt, come to find out Mr. Wyatt was a convicted felon. And Mr. Wyatt was using a fictitious name. And Mr. Wyatt put other lies on Brittany Morris with concocted text messages to lend the appearance that she had been compromised. And then Wayne Docefino was hired by Osama Latif to go after Ali Chaudhry. When Wayne Docefino was approached by Osama Latif to be hired to do damage stories on Mr. Chaudhry, Wayne went and had a meeting with Ali Chaudhry and told him, this is how much I'm being offered to do this to you. If you pay me more, I'll work for you and do it against them. I'm telling you straight the facts, man. So the white lawyers involved have been going through a psychological quandary downtown at the courthouse because never before in Houston, Harris County history has Black people had so much influence and seats of authority under their control in the criminal courthouse, in the civil courthouse. So the white lawyers, the good old boys who have financially controlled those white judges through philanthropic campaign contributions, and they have influence with them. They're golfing buddies. They go to the same country club. They live in the same neighborhoods. They're friends with these white judges. But when they lost, Brother Gary, all of their power went out the door. So the first thing that they did, they became so emotional and mentally irrational, they set forth a secret campaign to undermine and belittle and besmirch the good name of Black judges. In fact, they don't even care if they're really guilty or done any wrong. Just throw enough mud on the wall, and let's see what sticks. So that the masses of the people who are voters will be deceived and misled to believe that all of these fabricated stories that are being put together via social media by a hired consultant is factual, when it's absolutely not. Let's talk about Mr. Wyatt a little bit longer. Mr. Wyatt, well, one step before that. So Ali Chaudhry come to me. He contacts the imam of the mosque and say, I want to talk to Quanell X. because somebody has to help me against what they're doing to me. So as a Muslim, I agree, out of respect to the imam, I go and meet with Mr. Chaudhry because I'm going to respect the, the advice and the counsel and the request of my elder imam. I go meet with Mr. Chaudhry. I tell him, I say, well, your problems are political and these are politics, and I don't like really getting into politics like that. So, the best thing I can do is give you some advice from a distance, but I really can't get directly involved. That was it. Do you know, Brother Gary, 4 days later, Mr. Wyatt contacts Osama Latif, the guy involved in the lawsuit, and say Ali Chaudhry just hired a hitman to kill you. And guess who the hitman is? Quanell X and the new Black Panthers. He just left the office. They had a meeting the other day in the office, and he's a hired hitman to kill you. But if you give me $200,000, this is what Mr. Wyatt told Osama Latif. You give me $200,000, and I'll go to the police, and I'll tell the police about your story to save your life.
Hold on a second now. You saying a bunch of stuff now. You sent me some. You got all this stuff in documents.
Oh, brother, it's deep, brother. It's deep.
My God.
So what happened? Osama Latif calls me and sets up a meeting through a third party with me. So I respect the brother who requested that I go meet with this man. It was urgent. I sat down with Osama Latif. He begins to tell me all this stuff about, I heard you were hired to kill me, and I don't want you to harm me. I have no problems with you and the new Black Panthers. Please don't do that. I say, wait a minute, sir. We're not thugs. We're not fools. I say, if I was hired to kill you, I wouldn't be sitting in a meeting with you. I said, in fact, sir, it's an insult. But I will investigate what you're saying to me, and I'll gather the facts. And if what you're saying is true, then I will hold everyone responsible who put my name in a concocted lie that could bring harm to me and those who are with me. He didn't think I was going to go as deep as I did, Brother Gary. So I had my lawyers get involved. My lawyers subpoenaed the investigation. And when they subpoenaed the investigation, it was assigned to the Houston Police Department Special Crimes Division, the Intelligence Task Force, and Homicide together. They investigated Chris Wyatt and concluded he was a notorious liar, the story was fabricated, and that he had no credibility. I got the documents I sent you, brother, where HPD lists everything that took place in that investigation. And it lists even where they interviewed Osama Latif. And he spoke about the money that the man was asking him to pay for this information. Osama Latif's lawyers took this man's affidavit against Brittany Morris. The recusal was heard by Judge Susan Brown, and Judge Susan Brown recused Brittany Morris off the case, off the sworn affidavit of Chris Wyatt, a notorious pathological liar that even law enforcement said has no credibility, and that he was a notorious liar who concocted a story to make some money. Now, I ask you.
So in all actuality, Brittany should have never came off the case.
Exactly. But I'm going to ask you and both your co-hosts, answer this question for me. When has ever in the history of Harris County or the city of Houston where a white judge has been asked to be recused off a case involving a black person, and a black person will write an affidavit that's a sworn convicted felon, what law enforcement says has no credibility, and a judge give that man's sworn statement credibility and substance and remove a white judge off the case?
I'll answer that.
Can a black man have that kind of credibility who's a known convicted felon using fake names, and law enforcement have concluded he's lying trying to make money?
I'll answer that because I know Demetri just got here. Donovan is not here. And in my 52 years of breathing, I've never seen it done. Not in Harris County.
That's how low down and wicked this game is going, brother. what they're planning to do in the 2022 midterm elections. They're planning to attack the Black Girl Magic. And they're planning to attack the Black Girl Magic, since we're using the words of illusion, of inclusion, magic. They're going to use wicked witchcraft, political wickedness to undermine those sisters, to trick the voters to no longer vote for them. And when Wayne did his story, he showed political campaign contributions coming from lawyers donating to Brittany. But what he did not tell you, all of them lawyers down there donate to judges. For generations, they've been politically, financially donating to judges. So the money that Brittany Morris took from lawyers, she didn't do one damn thing different than all them white boys and white women been doing down in Harris County Civil and Criminal Courthouse for generations.
It sound like, and Demetri, hold your seat, it sound like it's too many peckers in the woods down here in Harris County.
That's exactly what it is, brother. And these white boys are so afraid that their power, their grip on the seat of authority in the court system of Harris County has totally slipped and been broken. So now they'll result to the same wicked machinations that they did when they wanted to seize power against the Indians, when they wanted to seize power against Black Wall Street, when they wanted to seize power after Reconstruction with all of the Black elected officials who became elected officials after Reconstruction. And they went and used wicked laws and segregation laws to bring them down. This is nothing new. These devils have been doing this, but Black people in Houston, are you going to sit by and let these white folks do this to our own brothers and sisters, and you buy the lies that they're putting out there? And then when they remove Black men and women as judges downtown, they go back to business as usual.
Business as usual, y'all, is bail reform system will go out the window. The school to prison pipeline will work perfectly. All of a sudden, you're gonna be getting bails for shoplifting like 100,000. So that's something we talked about when I was in Minnesota. And like I said in the beginning, I may not like all them judges, but y'all ain't finna do this to our people, man. We ain't gonna sit back and let this go on. So they tried to drag Brittany, and they started out pretty good. But me and you didn't even know one night, we talking about it on this show, you on Dr. Candace Matthews' show at the same time, and we kind of just made them look like fools. Because we figured it out. We figured it out. We cannot allow this to happen. Donovan?
I got a couple. Well, I got a question that I thought that was very pertinent there, and I just want to explain for the people that might be listening and just checking it out, because somebody said, "Well, who cares? It's the judges." The judges. It's very important when it comes to politics. When you're a legislator, I know you guys think, "Oh, if I elect this guy or girl, they're going to go in there and put this law in." Yes, they're an important part of how we make laws. But what is the one branch that can overturn the law? The judiciary. And that's what they want to control. That's how important it is to control the judiciary. So let's say they make a law and say, well, reparations for everybody in Houston, or free everybody, that has a record in jail. The judiciary could come back and say, no, that's unconstitutional. That is not lawful. And whatever the law was, in the House or whatever, could be overturned. So I can see where a lot of money could be spent in controlling those judicial seats, and how important it is, especially in the state of Houston or Texas, and in the state of Houston and the major cities in Texas. Because let's face it, everybody's moving to Texas. Texas has a lot of money. I think Texas is almost second to California when it comes to jobs and all that other good stuff that goes there. So controlling the judiciary is very important. They lost a lot of seats last time. And just like Brother Quanell X just said, they have to get those seats back to get back in power, because without it, they can't control the board. Demetra?
No, absolutely. And I loved everything you said, Quanell. You said basically their objective now, because the midterms are coming up, is to trick the voters. But my question is, will it work? And if so, why?
Well, sister, when you use media outlets, too many of our people really believe what they see on TV to be the gospel. And they don't understand of the forces behind the programming of the stories that you see have motives and agendas also. There's no free press in America. That's a lie. A press is not free. Let me tell you why it's not free. Because if they really reported the truth as it is, they would lose advertising dollars. Every media station and outlet is controlled by advertisement dollars. Why do you think they never, ever, rarely, ever report on the behavior that is unprofessional, unethical, and many times criminal about the super rich? Because the super rich are those who buy up all the advertisement space in the media outlets. And so when they want certain programming to be fashioned and shaped against certain entities or individuals, they have the power to do it. I'll never forget this. Let me talk about this real quick. I was protesting David Honda. This was 14 years ago. They sold this sister a brand new car and did not tell her that they bought the car from the auction, and the car had been declared a salvage car. And when the car started acting up, she found out she had a salvage title, wasn't even a clear title. So she went back and asked for a new car. They told her no. So we protested David McDavid. Do you know? I'm not going to necessarily name them all right now, but how many of them told me, oh, we can't run that story about that because they buy full page ads in our paper. I'm talking about the mainstream news. Well, we can't touch that because, when you watch the morning news and the evening nightly news, they're buying advertisement space for their dealership. So if we do that, then they will pull their money from our station and our competitors will get that financing and we will lose revenue. It had nothing to do with the facts. It had everything to do with their fear of losing revenue. So some person, I don't know who it is, said, well, it's just the judges. Why should we care? Brother Gary told you why you should care. Listen, do you realize that two judges were convicted here in America within the last 2 years for illegally giving young African American boys long sentences so they would go to a certain juvenile facility that was ran by private contractors, and the private contractor was giving financial kickbacks to the judges for sending him them little black and Hispanic boys to the facility. So the boys who should have been given probation or second chances, they were not getting them. They were going straight to jail because they were financially profitable to a prison penal institution for juveniles, and the judge was getting paid. That's why you should care. Because when affirmative action is under attack and you got all the facts that affirmative action is under attack, then a white judge will say, no, I don't see racism here. I don't see discrimination here, and dismiss the case on a motion for summary judgment, and the black person never get justice. That's why you should care about black judges. That's why when a black man is on trial for a crime that he never committed, and that judge sitting on that bench know that the United States Supreme Court said it is unconstitutional within the last 15 years that a black man be tried by a jury of all white people because it's not of his peers, and that the defense counsel could file what is called the Batson motion to have the jury thrown out so minorities can be put on it, but the judge ignores that and rules against the Batson motion because he's a white man that does not have a problem helping the prosecutors get an all-white jury to send more black men and young black women to jail. That's why you should care. when you go into court and you face an eviction, your grandmother facing eviction, your mama facing eviction, you having hard times facing eviction, and the landlord then took your money and lying about receipts, and yet a black judge know the con game of these people will stand up for you and rule against a wicked landlord who's a slumlord. That's why you should care. But you can act like you don't care if you want to, until you or somebody you love is before one of those racist white judges and them beautiful brothers and sisters who love their community, who are spiritually and mentally and psychologically connected to the history of the community, is gone and you have no help. Then you will see what time it is. Like Brother Gary said, we'll go back to the days where a black man could be given 35 years for one marijuana joint. Do you hear me? One of our beautiful black activist brothers, Linwood Johnson, may God be pleased with him. They gave that brother 30-something years for one marijuana joint. One marijuana joint. This is what they do. See, that's why you should care about black judges. Did you forget about what they did in a small Texas town where that corrupt cop was planting dope on all them brothers and sisters? All them brothers and sisters. And the judge saw the truth and knew the facts and didn't do a damn thing about it. That's why you should care.
And I'm going to say real quick, Gary, one of those judges that was sending black men and boys up the river for a very long time actually sent a 10-year-old to prison.
Well, I tell you something about this media down here. It's a case me and Quanell we've been watching for the last almost 2 years. The case of the Tuttle, Dennis Tuttle and Regina. I forgot her last name. God bless them. The two innocent people that were killed in their house by the rogue Houston Police Department. Well, last week you had We the People with Hyde and Kathy Swillett, my man Noel Pinnock. They had a press conference, and that in that press conference you had former HPD officers who had been telling HPD forever that these people were concocting evidence. Let me show you how the media work. If Kathy doesn't talk to Noel or whoever she talked to, say, man, we need to make sure we put up our video of the press conference. Less than 30 minutes after they did the press conference in front of full media, all the links disappear. Every single link disappeared. The media is a joke in the city of Houston. They bought and they paid for. You see what I'm saying? Y'all have heard stuff on this program that never comes across the wire. It never comes across the wire. And I know it's some people out there. Well, all white judges ain't bad. Well, they just like white cops to me. I don't know which ones of y'all is good or bad. I ain't taking no chances on it. But the way that they trying to do it, or if you're looking for a dog fight, you're gonna get one. You're gonna get one. You put the wrong set of judges in there right now during a pandemic, it'll be a bunch of homeless black people. Bottom line, no, we ain't letting it go down. So every one of you black judges out there, and I know a couple of y'all, we ain't really cool. I got your goddamn back now. I'm gonna ride or die for you. But and you gotta understand judges' judicial canons. They really can't say nothing. They like sitting ducks. So they really can't say nothing by law. But we gotta be their voice. Now we ain't letting it happen. Quanell, go ahead.
That we have disagreements with. But just because I disagree with you politically or philosophically does not mean I don't love you as a member of our community and our people. Don't mistake my critique out of love that we don't love you. But at the same time, dear brothers and sisters who are the elected officials and judges, don't be afraid to stand up and stand with your brothers and sisters that are fighting and standing up for you. And what we have to learn as Black people, especially leaders and activists, before we condemn each other publicly, let's do everything within our power to be like Jewish people, to be like Asian people and Arabs. They always go behind closed doors and talk about it first before they go out publicly slandering each other. In fact, you never see the members of the Jewish community do it, no matter how much they vehemently disagree with a fellow member of the Jewish community. You have never ever seen a rabbi condemn Hugh Hefner. You've never ever seen the ADL condemn one Jewish individual who was influential in the music industry, getting rich off of financing and promoting Black rappers to say things that are so foul and derogatory about Black women and Black people, and they making millions and tens of millions off of it. You never see the ADL or no Jewish leader ever condemn those of their own community who are getting rich by financially promoting and benefiting off the madness that keeps Black people down, and if that foments the killing of Black rappers one against another. We have to learn from them. Let's not attack each other publicly if we possibly can. Let's work night and day to build bridges with each other to where we can agree to disagree without being violently disagreeable with one another. But I'm going to tell you what they love. They love when Negroes publicly slay each other. They love when we slander and say foul and vile things about each other, because they know that spreads division. It spreads doubt about Black leadership. And that's why the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that doubt is the mother of disbelief. And one thing I learned from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I learned this very well, brother. No matter how much evil and bad that Black leaders and Black people have said about him, you've never once seen him oratorically retaliate publicly against them like they come at brother. Because he said, look at the example of Jesus the Christ. He never cursed those who cursed him. He never spoke foul and evil against those who spoke foul and evil against him. In fact, he went so far as to say, crucify me and forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. It takes tremendous discipline to keep your mouth and your tongue when your own people are talking foul against you. But there's ways of dealing with that. We just got to do it privately. Now, I'm not saying some of them don't deserve a hickey or 2 or 3 black eyes, but it's got to be done in the proper manner.
You know, quick question. Well, not a quick question, but do we happen to know of the upcoming midterms, who is going to some of their opponents? And, you know, is there a way we, you know, are we going to know who the opponents are? Because I was reading all the document. It's a good read. But, you know, we know in politics, sometimes they could put 2 or 3 people in there just to get that one seat. So, I mean, is there anything prominent that we could do or look at that would kind of give us a idea of, you know, where we're going to go and who not to vote for and what to look for?
I think the best thing that we can do is stay tuned to the war zone. I think one of the best things we can do is tune in to the war zone. And I think that if the people spread the word, go to the war zone and listen, you will be awakened and well informed. Then the people will know what direction to go and what candidates to support and what schemes that are being played, and those who are being put in races to only cipher away votes from good people. What better show can we go to than the war zone? So now the challenge and the responsibility is on the war zone to continue delivering vibrant and live and revolutionary information and instructions to the Black voters, young and old, of what must be done. So let's let the war zone be the vanguard that spearheads that movement, and brothers like myself and sisters also the warrior queens that are out here fighting for the liberation of our people, be a part of this show as often as we can, giving vital information.
I tell people all the time, some nights we go a little hard, but it's a reason why we go so hard. But you can definitely tune in here every single night and hear the truth. You can tune in here and hear things that they ain't gonna never tell you on mainstream media. It is what it is, man. So, thank you for plugging us like that, Doc. Um, do you know of any other targets offhand besides Brittany Mars? Because we want to make sure we make people clearly understand that, one, go vote for Brittany when it's her time in 4 years. Go vote for Brittany Mars, man. Brittany ain't did nothing wrong. Is there any other targets that they trying to get right now?
There are several others, and I'm not sure if they want me to divulge that information at this time, but we have to in the future very soon. But one in particular is Judge Dwayne Jordan. They totally have used the same wicked methods to try to come after that brother. They are also going after Judge Jones, brother. This is what they're doing, man. And especially our brothers in the criminal courthouse, brother. They're going at them too, because they're making it look like that they are totally responsible for what they're doing solely about bail reform, when some of them have been tied to go outside of those bounds as they should. But brother, I would encourage, brother, that we need to get those criminal court judges in particular in a private room and say, listen, you're being set up for failure. You're being tricked with bail reform, because what they got you doing is let certain ones out of jail who should not really be out of jail, because they're hitting the streets with 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 felonies, out on bond for 5 or 6 or 7 different cases, and then killing innocent human beings. We need you to exercise better judicial judgment when you set bonds on someone like that, because nobody in the black community is going to be mad with you if you got a man that's got 4, 5 felonies. You decide to keep him in jail.
Demetra.
I just kind of want to piggyback off of what you said in regards to, us basically being on code. Like, regardless of what we feel about our people, we do not drag them, or, we might put a whooping to their backside, but we definitely don't co-sign everybody else doing it. A perfect example is that of Maxine Waters. I don't agree with her politically at all, but one of her opponents, Omar Navarro, some young kid, he's ran against her like 3 or 4 times and has completely lost. But he recently tweeted, and I'm paraphrasing, if you're behind me in, beating this wicked witch of the West, donate to my campaign. And I was like, oh no, absolutely not. That's what we're not going to do. We're not going to allow you to drag our Black female elder, regardless of how we feel about it. So I think that's very important that we do get on code, because as you said, nobody else does that to their people but us. But can you speak to, just expound a little bit more on your point about Black media? Can you tell the people how important it is really to get behind Black media? Now, I know you talked about it a little bit. Dr. Claude Anderson, says that we as Black people own less than 3% of the media, so we don't always get our messages out. But we do have platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and so on and so forth. So can you talk about that a little bit more?
I want to encourage Black people to understand something. You're never going to have legitimate, real, free, and independent Black media if Black people do not financially support Black-owned media. It cannot work. It can only work if we pool our nickels, our dimes, and even the pennies collectively and support Black media. I believe that Black churches should have a fund set up in the church to support Black media outlets. And I don't care if it's $50 or $100 a month. Send that to Black media outlets that they may survive and they may financially Stay on board when it comes to delivering truthful Black news that's uncompromising. Black-owned restaurants, you gotta get more involved with spending your advertisement dollars with with Black social media outlets. You have to. And Black athletes, you gotta do more of spending resources and money. And Black entertainment figures, you gotta spend money with Black social media platforms, because when them devils attack you, you're gonna need Black social media and Black media period to defend you. So why don't you invest in your own protection from that wicked man when they come after you? We can do it. Do you know the kind of money Black people waste every week? So if we just took 1% of what we waste, we could have a free and independent Black media with all the Black media social platforms that are relevant. So when you see the war zone, you will be given battle strategy, battle tactics. You will be taught how to politically and philosophically fortify positions, secure perimeters, and how to politically take the high ground. And you will be taught Black warfare, guerrilla tactics politically, to when they come at Black elected officials, we know how to deal with those political machinations and games, because we have politically been enlightened and well informed by platforms like the War Zone. But don't just post comments and not be willing to send 50 cents to Black media outlets. You got to help, brothers and sisters. We all can do better, but when we know better, we do better. So there should be a campaign to take our dollars away from these white media outlets and redirect them Black to Black social media outlets in particular. We can do it, because social media really is the new news of the world.
Donovan, do me a favor, because you're normally on top of that. Give us a quick list of some of the Black media outlets that's rocking every single night, man.
Okay, yeah. You have like the Huey P. Newton. He rocks the Damian Jones podcast. The Demetra Smith, she has a podcast. You have the Tamara for Georgia, Withhold the Vote. And I'll list a bunch of them on here as well, usually when we do the show. The Demetra K Show, the African Diaspora News Channel, the Afro Network. I mean, they're out there. You just got to look them up. But the ones that keep doing the messages, but I'll put it in the comments, and on the issues, that's another one. So they're out there.
Don't forget yourself now.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, if you want to kick some butt, that's me right there. So.
Well, I'll say this here, because I talk to these people. It's a lot of times that they've come and wanted the War Zone to do this and do that. It's not gonna happen. It's just not gonna happen. When you wanted us to drag Damien, we're not doing it. When you want me to drag the Black superintendent, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. So, the bottom line is, do it to your people. Or if you want to do them, then you go out there and do them. It's easy for you to come to me, because I can kind of validate it. They'll believe me because it's coming from me and I'm Black. Well, you forgot I'm too raw for MTV and I'm too Black for BET. I ain't playing the motherfucking games with y'all. Don't come right here with them woodpecker games, because I'm going to serve you like breakfast. I'm just telling. And see, people get mad when I say things like that, or they get mad at Brother Quanell because he breaks it down in black and white terms. Y'all playing black and white games. And until we expose you for who you truly are, our people ain't gonna know. Our people ain't gonna know. Man, y'all would be amazed at how bad they want this war zone off of you. They don't want this war zone up here, man. War zone shaking too much stuff up. But guess what? We ain't going nowhere. And anytime a brother like Quanell or anybody like him need to come on here, speak their piece, that's what it's gonna be. That's what it's gonna be. So yeah, if you think we finna go after these black politicians for you, nah, it ain't gonna happen, homeboy. It ain't gonna happen. You keep that little money you got. It ain't gonna happen. I don't want it. I got enough food at the house. I got some Jello. I'm straight.
And on you all's beautiful, beautiful show. I feel remiss if I don't say this. To the black elected officials and black pastors and black men and women in leadership, if you are more afraid of white folks than your own people, the day is coming to where a day of reckoning will come to your door. Because the people will remember that you was the number one chief defense spokesman and also apologizer for those who have no love for us. So I want to say to those in black leadership, man, I'm warning you, be careful when you willingly do what those who have been our oppressors for generations want you to do because you want an extra buttered biscuit and a piece of fried chicken around the back door of their homes. Be careful. So to the handkerchief head, window dressing, boot licking, behind kissing, old times are not forgotten. Put you back in the land to pick cotton, Negro, the one who was scratched where he don't itch. Let me warn you, don't do that today. Turn that money down because all money ain't good money. Check out the revolution in South Africa before Nelson Mandela was released. They had a prescription for Negroes who were selling out to people. Be careful. Look at what happened when Reverend Sharpton and Jesse Jackson went down to Ferguson, Missouri, and young black youth went off because they felt that they had been too much of an apologist for the enemies of our people. We love them. They're our elders. They've done good in many places, but the day of apologizing for our oppressors is over. So if you can't say something to speak to the liberation of our people, then be quiet. Because today, young black youth are remembering, and young black youth are recognizing those voices that are so watered down in the time that they should speak up with strength. You can't hear a rat piss on cotton come from them because they're so afraid of angering or upsetting or displeasing our former slave masters' children, because they know that we will be free once we unite as a people. The motto in the new Black Panther Nation is unity is the key. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that the unity of black people is more powerful than an atomic bomb. That's the one thing we have never truly tried, real unity. And I'm hoping that we will collectively come together and form a legitimate black agenda to put before all politicians like Mr. Joe Biden. Mr. Biden, he said that when he took office while he was running, he was campaigning, he said, my first act will be to fight for the rights of the LGBT community. Okay, but we ain't heard a damn thing about reparations. You spoke on a little bit, Mr. Biden, like you were for it, encouraging it. Now that you're in the White House, we can't hear the rat piss on cotton come from you about reparations. And Sister Kamala, whether you're African American or black today or Indian tomorrow or you're Afrocentric Indian or African American, whatever you call yourself, whatever it is you want to be, at the end of the day, them devils in DC still see you as a nigger. Your sister, don't be under no illusion. They don't love you, sister. They don't trust you. And we need you to do better by black people, in particular black men, than what you did as a district attorney and as an attorney general. Sister,
Let
push
me
the
ask you,
agenda of
let me ask you a
reparations.
question. Why is it so hard for black politicians once they get the spot? Why is it so hard for them just to follow through on the shit that they promised for black people?
It is because, Brother Gary, when they take the seat of that elected political office, it's like a warming pad. Have you ever had a strain or a pain and you put the heating pad on the strain and you put the heating pad on the bruise? It's plugged into a socket for electricity. It's plugged into a source of power. So we as black people see the black elected official sitting in the seat of political power, but we really don't see the real power that's stuck to the charge of the current that's under that seat that brother or sister are sitting in. And so to us, we think they got some power when the real power is the unseen power that we don't see. That's the real power. It's like black multimillionaires. Black multimillionaires look big to us, but in the eyes of their white billionaire counterparts, they're like midgets because we are under the illusion of inclusion of power. And the only thing that will truly free black elected officials, we have to financially control the campaign contributions to all of our black elected officials until black people come together with a black agenda that says if we can trace $1 from outside of our community and you're running in a black district, we will not elect you
I want to give
until we make it that the person who wins and the person who ran was solely financed by their own people, the way it used to be during Reconstruction. We're
from a,
not going to be free.
from a black media perspective, we definitely have to shout out the Houston Forward Times, one of the oldest black publications in the country, award-winning writers over there. Cindy George is over there. My man Jeffrey L. Boney is over there. Real Talk. If you're a Real Talk junkie, every Wednesday, I think at 12 o'clock, my man go and he lay it down. One of the hottest shows that I was a Real Talk junkie before I ever got into the game. So, make sure if you want to read black newspaper, subscribe to the Forward Times, man. You're going to hear the real. You're going to read the real. We have to stop listening. The biggest mistake we ever made was trusting the oppressor. That's the biggest mistake that we ever made as a people. And in a lot of instances, I will not trust them. If you read the newspaper, the Chronicle bashes Superintendent Grenita Lathan almost daily. But I've never seen a superintendent walk through the Houston Independent School District that knew children by name. I've never seen a superintendent get that much teacher support. And ever since she took the job, I've never seen so many black schools that ain't failing no more. But let the Chronicle tell it, she ain't what we need. Well, won't you just give us, let's see if we get this right, Quan. Won't you just take your school district, cut it in half, put the white folk on one side of town, put us on the other side of town, and we'll keep over here with us. Because you really want to just make the rules and the regulations and the policies just for the white folk on the west side of town. That's what you want to do. Stop reading that foolishness. Stop looking. I don't even look at the news no more. I'll glance just to see what's really out there. But then once I glance, I research. Because I don't trust nothing they say. Demetri?
Yeah, and I was going to say, in addition to the Final Call newspaper, every time I go to my dad's, he hands me like 20. I'm like, Dad, I only need one, okay? But yeah, you're going to get the real deal there too. And I saw that you put up a comment from Tanaya about Roland Martin. He is tried to reach out to the new black media. he might be trying to do that. Now, I honestly haven't watched anything that Roland Martin has done in a while, but especially during the campaign season, he was firing on the new black media. You know, it's calling us out of our names. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know what we're talking about. And I think he and a lot of other people have started to realize the power of the new black media, because we are actually reaching the people they wouldn't even be their target audience. And so I'm not surprised that he's now trying to reach out to the new black media and maybe, try to make friends, because, he's got his audience already locked and loaded. They're, not going to go anywhere, but you want to also grow your audience, and he's not going to be able to do that by continuing to alienate new black media. So,
well, in the city of Houston, and for Roland, if he's watching, because I know he watched. Hey, Roland, it's the same Monroe that stole the bus from Yates. Remember when we was at school together? Remember when you wasn't Roland Martin and you was just walking around there, and we had to protect you? You call me anytime you get ready. You got my number.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize Roland Martin's main core audience is the baby boomer generation. That's his core audience. But Brother Quanell, like we were talking about black media, which is, like you said, very, very important. But also in media, a lot of disinformation is thrown out there. And I've seen time and time again how the new Black Panther Party has been, matter of fact, I think they were put on a list as the most radical black group, whatever. Could you just kind of dispel that rumor about the new Black Panther Party and, what the agenda is? Because a lot of people that don't know about Brother Quanell X, I mean, you could go on YouTube and just put his name in there, and he is just on the news everywhere. So that tells me that what the white media puts out there in regards to Quanell X, the 5-star general, everything like that, it's totally not true, because you see this person doing the work. So, I just want to put that out there and give you not a chance, but, there's a lot of misconception about the new Black Panther Party.
The Chronicle called me a rebel rouser. So guess what? When it's time for the endorsements, and I'm going to say this loud for y'all, when it's time for the Chronicle endorsements, fuck you too.
New Black Panther Nation in America. And I was with Dr. Khalid Abdul Muhammad as he assumed leadership and authority of the new Black Panther Party. And we have some wonderful, brilliant, smart brothers and sisters of the new Black Panther Party. And we should always give credit to Brother Aaron Michaels, who founded the new Black Panther Party in Dallas, Texas, for his sacrifice of doing the work that he did, and Brother David Foreman and others. Don't believe what the enemy and the oppressors says about your own brothers and sisters. Go and speak and meet with them yourself. Now, we all have radical elements in our organizations, in our institutions, in our nation. But did not Donald Trump tell us, when the Proud Boys and the white supremacists and the KKK all came together and even killed one white girl at the protest, and Trump came before the public and said there were good people on both sides? Well, hell, if that's what the president thinks about his radical element among his people, why would you be so foolish as to quickly condemn your own? One man's freedom fighter is another man's terrorist. And freedom fighters is like beauty. It's in the eye of the beholder. So yes, they called you a rabble rouser, brother, but that's okay. You're in good company, because they didn't call you anything that they didn't call Christ Jesus first. And Jesus said it best. Remember, when they hate you, they hated me first. When they say all manner of evil against you, and some of you they will persecute, prison, and kill for my name's sake. But great is your reward in heaven with me. So, brother, whatever they call you, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, every knock is a boost. There was a donkey in the ditch. I'm going to close on this and go feed my daughter. But the Honorable Elijah Muhammad told us the story of the parable of the donkey in the ditch. The people saw a donkey that was trapped in the ditch. The people made fun of that donkey every day, and they would throw rocks in the ditch when they passed by at the donkey. They would laugh and throw rocks at it. One day, they came back, and the donkey was gone. They had threw so many rocks in the ditch, they helped the donkey walk right on up out of the ditch. So, brother, whatever they say about you, you just stay the course and keep doing the work and let your work speak for itself, because every knock can also be a boost. Thank you, brother, for having me this evening. Thank you, Sister Queen. Thank you, my dear brother. Thank you all for letting me be a guest on your illustrious show that informs and liberates the minds of Black people. May Allah bless all three of you and your listening audience for having me as a guest as I leave you as I came before you. Assalamu alaikum, Black Power.
Fuck the Chronicle. On real, man. Now, we're going to leave it alone after the night. It sounded so crazy when we brought it up about Brittany. But now y'all get it. Now y'all get it. Those judge races are very, very important. And we have to protect our people. I remember in HISD a couple of years ago, I didn't get along with a few Black trustees. And I called each one of them individually. I don't care what the issue is right now. We got to lock step on these people, man. We can fight on another day, but right now we ain't gonna fight each other. We're gonna fight the enemy. And because we did that, we were able to fix a few things. So that's the way it's gotta be right now. You know, and you can best believe if I don't like something Roland Martin say, I know how to pick up that phone. They ain't gonna see us get into it like that. You know, that like he say, they people don't do it. Why we do it? Why we do it? But I will say that some Black politicians, you got to do better, bro. You got to do better by the people, man. You can't expect us to keep covering for you and standing back behind you with these M16s ready to lock and load, and you still screwing over us. It don't work like that. Final thoughts, Ms. Demetra.
As always, it's a pleasure to have Quanell X on here, imparting wisdom and knowledge, and just, only in the way that he can, make us understand what's going on out there. But, I just want to just triple down on supporting Black media. Now, I want to put the emphasis on new Black media, nouveau Black media. The new Black media that is giving you the stories that you won't hear anywhere else. You won't hear them on BET, because at the end of the day, they still have white people writing their paychecks, or any of these, the griot, they're white dominated. I know, Byron, was it Byron Allen? He owns it, but come on now. The Root and all of them, they're Black outlets, but they not going to give it to you the way that you're going to get it with the new Black media. So do all you can to support it, share it, because I'm a benefactor of learning so much from other new Black media outlets. And so I know that you guys learn a lot here, whether it's, finances, history, politics, law, whatever. You learn a whole bunch of stuff. And so it would behoove everybody else to learn it too. So do all you can to be supportive.
Every time Quanell X comes on the show, or I see him speaking in a news conference or whatever, and I don't want to sound like I'm a female in it, but I get chills because the brother is just so cold. He's cold with it, and it's just so straight and smooth. And, when you want to aspire to be like that, it's going to take me a minute to do that. But again, the new Black media, it's so important today. And I think I remember, Demetra, 4 to 6 years ago when we started doing this, I had said, the whole emphasis of this is getting the information out and educating our people, because for the first time, as I've said several times, this is the first time Black people are talking to each other, not regionally. The West Coast has their own thing. The South has their own thing. The East Coast has their own thing. The Central Chicago area, they have their own thing. We are now talking in a volume as a nation and as a people. And I'm in total agreement. If there's an issue, we shouldn't be out here slamming and jamming each other, unless, of course, it just comes down to that. I mean, it is what it is. Because what I like to say, and I tell people all the time, and Demetra knows this about politics with me, it isn't personal. This is not personal. If your record shows that you ain't shit, you just ain't shit. It's not personal. See, so, and we got to do that. Like I said, we might not agree with the female judges and some of the things that they do, maybe some of the decisions that they do, but the key, just like Brother Quanell just said, is we have to unify. And when we unify as a people, and all you Biden supporters, you guys have been awfully quiet. You vote blue no matter who. When we unify, maybe then we will do better as a people.
Quanell told you about the story of the donkey from the Bible. Well, I want you to call me the donkey, because I'm going to act an ass as much as I can. Say, man, another spirited discussion from the best in the business. Say, I want to thank our guest tonight, my man Quanell X from the New Black Panther Nation. Give a shout out to Brother Nasi up in Minneapolis from the New Black Panther Nation. They got my back every time I hit the city. On behalf of my man, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K. You call me Mr. Ed the Donkey, because I'm going to act an ass every goddamn night. Until tomorrow night, man, we'll holler at you.